Look at that tree right there. Do you see a fractal pattern? Look at that tree. Do you see a fractal pattern? Look at that tree. Do you see a fractal pattern? Look at that tree. Do you see a pattern? Look at that roof. Do you see a pattern? Look at that fence. Do you see a pattern? Pattern, pattern. Look at those ACs. Do you see a pattern? Look at the grass. Do you see a pattern? Look at this crazy fence I built. Cheapo. Still got a pattern. Look at that street. Do you see a pattern? Look at the leaves on that bush. Do you see a pattern? Look at the siding on that house. Do you see a pattern? Do you see a fractal pattern? You can actually see it on this roof better. Do you see a pattern? Okay. Well, if you can see a pattern, what does that mean? That house is just a reverse image of this house. I've been in both of those houses. They're just a reverse. I actually used to crawl under that house and change the air filter for the people who lived in it like 20, 30 years ago. So I've been under that house, in that house, worked on that house, been in that house, thought about buying it one time. P-A is Pa. T is the cross. T-E-R-N. Turn. Listen to the phonics. Pa, T, turn. God is turning out copies of Jesus. When you see Jesus, you see the Father. God through Jesus, who is the archetypal pattern of all things, God through Jesus has created a pattern, and he's turning out, via the cross, copies of the Pa. Jesus is the image of the Godhead bodily. So that siding, those shingles, that fractal pattern on those trees, this fence, that concrete, that fence there, those cars, those AC units, it all points to Jesus. Hello? Anything that follows a pattern points to Jesus. This is why, now listen closer. This is why the man has the seed in his body. He's upright. He's working. He's doing his thing. The woman does her job laying down. That's why women like office jobs. Men like to be out walking and doing things. She represents Mother Earth. The seed that the farmer plants in the ground, He plants a watermelon seed and it produces watermelon. The man has the seed. He plants seed in the woman laying down in the bedroom. And a copy of that seed is turned out, cycles, turned, developed through her, and it pops out into the two come together, and there's a copy, and it pops out. Now, listen to this. So the woman and the man, they get married. She starts to look like the man. If you noticed, if they're together, if they're really together and in tune, she'll start to look like the man. You can actually see this when people have a pet for a long time. They walk down, they've had that pet for 10, 15 years. And that you look at that person, man or woman, and you look at that pet and you say, the pet looks just like them. How's that even possible? How does the pet look like the owner? How can the woman, you see a picture of a woman when she was young and the man, and then when they're 60, 70, 80 years old, they've been married all their life. And how is it possible that they look the same? Their facial features start to look the same. The truth is right in front of you. 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 The truth is actually encoded in your body, in your DNA, in your left arm, your right arm, your eyes, the heart's in the middle, the reproduction's in the middle. You got a left arm, right arm. You're actually looking, when you watch the political warfare going on between the left and the right Democrats, you're actually looking at yourself, your left arm, your right arm, and you're moving your body. When you look at that house, you're looking at an image of yourself. When you look at that car, you're looking at an image of yourself. When you look at that tree, you're looking at an image of yourself. I did an experiment. They used to be out in the front yard fighting and arguing and screaming and loud noise and making insanity. I said, okay. The only reason they're doing that is to get attention. So I said, I'm gonna build me a boundary. I built a fence around. I didn't spend much on it, but I built a temporary. It's temporary. I can knock that down in a couple hours. But I set it up as a boundary because I didn't want to come out of the house seeing their insanity every day, right? I didn't want that in my eye gate, right? And so by setting up those posts, which is a pillar or a post represents what? Stability, stable, able. After I did that, slowly, little by little, then they moved to the backside of the house. Then all the ones that were living there moved away. Went away. All the drama went away. Then somebody over here, then a bunch of jailbirds moved in over here, and then they just went in the back. Now they're just inside all the time. What happened? I set up a type and a shadow that I didn't want to be a part of the Jerry Springer drama, and it went away over periods of time. I set the seed of upright, stable, no drama, and they had to go away. I set the boundaries. I don't know these people. I don't know their name. I'm serious. I don't know any of their names. But they know my name. Some of these people that come back to the very beginning of the conversation, some of these people, maybe that was the other video I did, but some of these people come to your channel and then they start their own channel. They attack you, I guess, to build up their own channel. And you've never even been to their channel. You don't even know what they're teaching. They know my name, but I don't know their name. What's the pattern? Online is no different than this. They know my name. They created drama to try to get my attention. The people online who knew my name lied about me, tried to get attention. It was all drama. It's just, it doesn't matter. And I said this like 10 years ago. I said I use the online to decode the devil's system. I saw the drama online, and I was able to use the drama online as a fractal to see how it works here in the real world. Because it's a fractal. The same stuff is happening online. It's happening in families, happening in the job, happening in the neighborhood, happening in your own mind and heart if you let it. One way to beat those thoughts is quote verses. One verse would be, His mercies are new every day. Every morning, His mercies are new every morning. And so, let's say you're struggling with something. His mercies are new every morning. Sometimes you just have to take it day by day, one day at a time, and eventually you're going to have a breakthrough. His mercies are new every day, every morning. Just say it for 7 days until the breakthrough, for 21 days till the breakthrough. And if you have to do it for a year till the breakthrough, sometimes people get stagnated for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. Usually in a situation like that, it's time to change jobs or something. You've been stagnated for 5 years and you can't break free. Do some fasting, do some prayer, do some introspection. Go get around some other people. Go get another job, part-time job. Get some different perspectives. A lot of times the reason you're stuck in a rut is because you have the same old people saying the same old things. And when you break those people, listen to somebody who's actually doing something, actually getting some stuff done, then that is a new communion, new relationship that actually pushes you to the next level. But if you're over here stuck with these people who complain and cry and argue and pour mouth and all that, and that's all you know, you're going to be stuck for years because you're just feeding off each other. One trick they try to do, and they did it to me for a long time, is they'll send an agent, the devil and his demons, they'll send an agent, and they'll have an agent talk to you, and they want you to complain. They want you to vent. They want you. That's the trick. It took me a long time to see this one. They want you to vent. Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. The Bible says, whatsoever things are true, lovely, good report, think on these things. Life and death in the power of the tongue. So if you're venting death, what are you going to get? Death. If you're venting life, you're going to vent life. So they want to talk to you and get you to vent with them, and they feed on that. And if it's a witch trying to pull you into venting, because she knows it's going to destroy you, she lets you destroy yourself. It's like a proxy war. This witch or warlocks is like a proxy war. They get you to vent, and they're just listening, and they're watching you destroy yourself because you're not thankful, you're not praising God, you're venting something negative. I mean, is that not crazy? Is that not what's going on in most people's lives? They want you to vent, and they're sitting there watching you destroy yourself. It's really sad, to be honest with you. It's really sad. Why do I do this? One of the reasons I do this is to reinforce in my own mind these truths that just come to my mind. You know, it's like getting a download. It's like as you speak, it just flows. You're getting in the flow state, and it's kind of like if you're playing basketball and you're hitting every time you throw the ball, you hit the net, and you know 2 points. So you're in the flow state, and so these flow states, it just comes. It's not. There's no script. Nothing is scripted. It's just flowing. And if I'm in the flow state, I know there's somebody out there that needs to hear something and is going to help them move to the next level. If it hurts you in a good way, because if it stings you, if it's truth and it stings you, it should push you to move to the next level. And you might need to hear it 30 times or 50 times or 100 times. Somebody says, quit eating sugar, 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 quit eating sugar. They did that. They told me that. I heard people telling me, don't eat fast food. They told me that for 20 years. Quit going to fast food. Quit going to fast food. Then it finally sunk in when I had to listen. And it was like, they were probably thinking, I'm tired of telling him, but he needs to hear it. And somebody tells you, quit venting because you're destroying yourself. Quit venting, quit venting, quit venting. And then we forget and we do it too. The ones saying don't do it. And so there's a lot of times when the same stuff keep hitting you and repeating, and we're too dumb to listen, you know. And what's up with this car? Because nobody lives there. There's not a for rent sign. I think that house is even condemned. I think that house, the water's probably off. Maybe it's an Uber driver. Remember the day when cars would park and they were up something? And then after Uber and Lyft came along, now you see people parked over here. You know, they're probably waiting on a rider. Isn't that how reality shifted? If this would have happened 20 years ago, we'd walk over and say, you got a problem, man? What are you doing? Now, he's like, well, this is probably an Uber or a DoorDash or something. It's wild stuff. It's funny how one little invention or one little service can change everything. For real, 20 years ago, somebody just pulled up and parked, and you're out in the yard working, you'd look at them and say, "What's up? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Now you say, "Oh, it's probably DoorDash." All right, I'm done. I don't know if anybody got anything out of this. I really don't. Look at that. That's right, Uber. Crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if that little dog looked just like the owner. I haven't really paid attention. The pattern repeats because Jesus is the pattern of all things. These fingers are similar. What is a finger? It has an archetype. There's a type of this finger, this finger, this finger, this finger reveals an archetype. A thumb reveals an archetype. And so the archetypes are everywhere, and no matter what you look at, there's going to be an archetype. And so Jesus is the ultimate archetype. You have a holographic mind if you would just use it. This is the problem with AI. The only way that AI is going to be able to think like a human is through a holographic lens, looking at stuff from multi dimensions, From the front, when they look at something, they got to look at it from the front, side, back, other side, above, below. In your imagination, you can see, like that tree, the part that's behind the house, you can imagine how that tree probably goes down behind that house and about how far back it is, just with your imagination. I don't think an AI could do that. They might be able to do it right now. I don't think so, though. Because to be honest with you, if you really look at that, that house and that tree just look like it's at the same distance, But it's not. The only proper way to see how far that tree is behind that house would, when the sun's shining, look at the shadow maybe. Or do a echo, a sound wave or whatever. But even that tells you we're in a projection. We're in a holographic fractal simulated projection, because that tree and that house look like it's at the same, coming up through the same plane there. But we know in our mind that tree is further behind that house than it looks, than it appears. And so that in itself tells you we're in a projection. It's all a projection from the cross. That same story that happened at the cross is actually happening all the time. And it's repeating until we get it right. Over and over and over. Whether it's relationships, whether it's a deep understanding, whether it's getting your heart right, whether it's getting out of debt, whatever it is, it just keeps repeating until you say, okay, Lord, I've learned my lesson. I'm going to step into it. Whatever it is, I'm not going to eat that anymore. I'm not going to say that anymore. I'm not going to think that way anymore. How many people actually do that and say, I'm not going to think that way anymore? How many people on the planet make a conscious choice to not think that way anymore? I'm not going to think that way anymore. How many people do that? Very few. I refuse to think that way. Where did that pattern of thought come from? Come from your bloodline, your culture, some old flesh mind thing that's going on as a program. I refuse to think that way anymore, because Jesus is risen and his mercies are new every morning. He's high and lifted up. The devil's a defeated foe. He's already lost. Hello?